Yes, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Shiva. Yes, how are you, Shiva?
Really good, sir. How are you doing today?
Yes, good, very nice. Yes, we will start within 2 minutes, sir.
Sure, no problem. So, how many people from institute are attending interviews, sir?
So nearly 30 are there, so they will be joining now.
Nice. How was the paper difficulty this year, sir? Better than last year? Or?
Very better than last year.
Okay.
Where are you now, right now?
I'm in Delhi, sir. Like, there's a Foreign Service Institute here.
Yes.
Sushma Swaraj Institute of Foreign Service.
Yes. So recently FC concluded, no?
Yes, sir. It concluded on December 9th. And the course here started on 12th.
Yeah.
How was the previous session, sir? Chaitanya session?
Chaitanya session was good.
Yeah. She was my neighbor in FC, like next room.
Oh, very nice. Yes, the session goes like this. So, how was your interview and what were the questions asked in the interview? Then any questions we will take from the aspirants.
Sure. Sir, like last year, I had noted down some basic requirements, sir, which is needed for preparation. Can I share that also?
Yeah, please. It will be very much helpful to the people you are going to interview. I will make you a spotlight. Yes, please go on.
So we have Akshay, Kunal, Nadia, Shashank, and Vidyanshu, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine, sir. So good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing fine. So how would they be asking questions, sir, on chat or?
They will be talking.
Okay.
They will be speaking as well as they will be chat both.
Okay, fine, sir. So the thing is, you can ask questions in the middle also, sir. No, don't bother like waiting till the last. So first, congratulations to all of you for qualifying for the interview. And here I'll be very brief regarding the requirements which is expected. Like I had jotted down a few points last year, like how to go about preparing for interview, and I'll be sharing that briefly with you. And you can ask questions later on. Yeah. So first, for this preparation, you have to go through the notification, which is released by UPSC. So in that notification, they have shared certain requirements or criteria based on which they'll be not judging exactly, they'll be interviewing you. Okay. So you may have read the notification, but there are certain keywords which you have to focus on. So they say that the candidate would be interviewed by a board who will have before them a record of candidate's career. So basically your DAF and every detail about your education qualification, your career, etc. would be on that. It's very important that you're thorough with your DAF. Okay. And the questions would be matters of general interest. So basically it won't be anything specialized, which you would be expected to know, just generalized things. And here are some important keywords mentioned here. The test is intended to judge your mental caliber and not just your intellectual qualities, but also your social traits and interest in current affairs. So basically, you can find three things here. So they'll be judging your mental caliber, intellectual quality, social traits, and interest in current affairs. So broadly, you can qualify it like this, right? So basically, they'll be testing what you are saying and how you are saying. How your responses to the questions. And they've also given certain other criteria, like they'll be testing your mental alertness, critical powers of assimilation, clear and logical exposition, balance of judgment, variety and depth of interest, ability for social cohesion, and intellectual and moral integrity. So there's a lot to unpack here. So we'll go about it one by one. So first they say they'll test your mental alertness. So what I think is that mental alertness is basically how quickly you are able to grasp the questions which they're asking. So what I feel is like you have to be really alert and really careful while listening to the questions. So that will be the aspect of your mental alertness. Critical powers of assimilation, almost the same thing. You should be able to clearly understand the requirement of the interviewer. Okay. Then there's clear and logical exposition. I believe that this is the most important point you have to take care of. What is clear and logical exposition? When you are posed with a question, you should be answering. But when you answer or when you give your opinions, it should be logically correct. Like you have to come up with interrelated points one after another and finally get to your opinion. It shouldn't be like you're giving a set of incoherent answers. So your exposition should be logical and sequential. Okay, so this you have to practice during your mock test. Like whatever opinion based question you are asked, you have to give logical reasons for your opinion. And of course there's balance of judgment. I believe like every one of us are good at this, because in our GS answers we give balanced answers for everything, right? So even in your personality test, you should try to give balanced answers. uh, Variety and depth of interest. So this is pretty dicey because we don't know like what variety of knowledge is expected of us. But as you read more of your newspapers, you would be aware of a range of things which is happening around you. And the next requirement is also crucial: ability for social cohesion and leadership. So what um, it says is that during our answers, we have to express ourselves in such a way that we bring everyone together. Like India is a diverse country, right? So your answer should reflect that diversity and unity within our country. So that's social cohesion and leadership. And the final keyword here is intellectual and moral integrity. Uh, so what happens is that your interview happens for 30 minutes. There'll be question in the starting, in the middle, in the end, but your moral and intellectual integrity signifies that the way you answer or your thought process should remain constant throughout the process. It's not like you give one answer in the starting and later on you contradict your same answer. So that shouldn't happen. And they'll obviously pose question in such a manner to test this intellectual integrity of yours. So people who've joined just now, I'm just discussing the keywords mentioned in your notification regarding the requirements from your for your personality test. The notification also says that it's not strict cross-examination, but directed and purposive conversation. So you have to treat it as such. It's just purposive conversation. So sometimes they'll ask you a question, you'll answer it, and they may give a different opinion. So you can indulge them in that. So you can further add to that point or accept their opinion or humbly refute that also. So not for all questions, but at least for one or two questions, try to make a conversation or a discussion out of it. So that may give you an edge. So treat the interview more or less as a directed conversation, at least for some questions. And that's it. The next thing they say is that the questions would be based on events which are happening around you. So basically follow your current affairs really well. And now that we've covered the requirements of the preparation, we can go into some certain nitty-gritties of what could be done. So broadly, like the preparation strategy for everyone during personality test remains the same, right? So you analyze your DAF. For each keyword, make a set of questions and try to answer them on your own. Don't take someone else's answer. Just come up with the questions and answers on your own. So at the end of this process, you should have at least like 300 questions just based on your DAF. So the thing is like the questions may not be directly asked from the DAF, but it helps you in developing the confidence. And confidence is the most important thing in the interview chamber. So yes, so that will be one thing. You'll be preparing questions on your DAF and answering them. make sure you make at least like 250, 300 questions based on your DAF. And then obviously side by side, you have to prepare your current affairs. So you have to focus more on opinion-based questions, and don't be involved in too much of research on a particular topic. Just read something, form your own opinion, try to look for one or two different viewpoints, and add them to your notes or your preparation while going about current affairs. So these are the two broad things, right? One, DAF based questions, and second one is your current affairs. So this is the broad strategy of preparing. Now, what further could be done by you? So what I would suggest is that attend as many mock interviews as possible. And once you get the recording of those interviews, try to judge yourself based on the criteria mentioned in the notification. Like I said, check your mental alertness, check your logical exposition, like how clearly are you able to express your viewpoints. Check if in each of your answers you're giving a balanced judgment, and also check if there is a element of social cohesion or leadership expressed in your answers. So you can do this after each mock interview. So basically, by the time you get to the main interview, you'll have a sense of idea like how you're performing based on these aspects. Apart from that, there are a set of small changes you can make to your answers. Try to be concise when you give your answers. See, like if you are posed with a opinion based question, and if you go on for say 2 minutes straight, the panel but it may not have the patience or the focus to sit through or understand your entire argument. So be concise as possible. See, like make it like 30 to 1 minute at max when you're giving an opinion based answer. Of course, when there are fact based questions, you'll have to be to the point. But for other questions, try to keep it short, say 30 to 1 minute. What it does is you can keep the interview panel engaged, and in that 30 minutes, you'll be able to face more questions. The thing is, like when you keep the answer short, then they would have to take the initiative to further probe, and then you can answer the follow-up questions. Don't get too involved and go about for answering straight for 2 minutes. So that I think would be a blunder. So keep it short, say 30 to 1 minute at max. And this you have to develop with your mock interviews. After each interview, you have to analyze like, was your answer concise, succinct, and to the point? Okay, you can do that with your mock interviews. And I would try to repeat again, practice, like take up as many mock interviews as possible. And there may be adverse opinions or diverse advices which the institute give to you. You may take it in, and even if you that's it, like be logically sound and be thorough with your DAF and your hobbies, and listen to your questions carefully. That's it. And about eye contact, make sure that you make eye contact with everyone while answering their questions. And on the day of interview, just few basic pointers. Don't panic about the verification process which happens before the interview. So even if you miss a document or two, they'll give you time after the interview, say 2 weeks, for you to submit the document. So you have to be as calm as possible on the day of interview. Don't panic about verification. And as much as possible, be cheerful, have a smiling face. This is the crucial point which many people advise me. Even at VISHNU IAS, sir's advice was that I have to smile more while talking, and that obviously helps. So be cheerful and optimistic while you answer. That would reflect your leadership and social cohesive properties. And another important point is that you can be ready with your introduction, because in most panels, they ask you to introduce yourself. So have a standard introduction for yourself, which would involve certain aspects which you've not included in your DAF. So something novel you can add in your introduction. So that would set you at a positive place at the start of interview itself. And even when you're not sure of some answers, make sure that you express your thought process to them. Like what's going on in your mind when you're thinking about a question. So that would like show to the panel that you are capable of logical thinking. And don't sound defensive. Suppose they disagree with your point, try to humbly accept it, or just put forward one extra point from yours. Just don't be defensive. Don't say no, or straightforward refute any of the points which is made by the panel. And be optimistic. Yeah, that's all from my side. And when it comes to the questions which were asked to me, it was completely random. My interview was taken by Chaube sir's board, which is you can't be very sure about what the marks is going to be after the interview, especially in Chaube sir's board. So for me, the questions from DAF were almost nil. Everything came from contemporary issues in news. So you have to be ready for that also. You may have prepared 300, 400 questions from your DAF, but you should accept the fact that there is a possibility that no questions would be asked from your DAF. So be prepared for anything. That's all from my side. Like if there are questions, you can ask. Yeah, Shashank, go on.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, go on. Don't call me
good
Shiva.
evening.
Call me Shiva. You can call me Shiva.
Good morning. Good evening, Shiva.
Yeah, carry on.
Actually, can you tell me your current affairs strategy? How you prepared about current affairs?
Yeah, the same thing. Yeah, I followed like two newspapers, Indian Express and Hindu, and I just read it.
Okay.
And as far as notes are concerned, I made short notes about the opinion, about my opinions from the paper.
Okay. We don't have to refer any proper like any magazine or magazine. Current affairs magazine.
See, it depends on your comfort also, because the requirements of the panel may be different from the magazine, because magazine is more exam oriented, right?
Yes, sir.
So what magazines do is they stick to the UPSC syllabus.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, you can supplement it with magazine, but newspaper is important, especially for personality test.
Thank you, sir. So one more question.
Yeah, go on.
While giving interview, we tend to move our hands while explaining something. Is it like means good or bad? Like we should do that or not?
So it depends on your personal comfort, right?
Okay,
I've got no opinion on this. Sometimes movement of hands come naturally to some people, right? But
yes.
if you try to like curb that natural instinct of yours, then all your focus would be on your hand, which is not an ideal thing to do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So throughout your mock interview, just check which comes naturally to you. But if the hand gesture is not natural to you, don't force it.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
Sir, is your optional anthropology?
Yeah, my option was anthropology.
So what all we need to prepare for it? Like, have you faced any questions regarding that, or like what all the things we should prepare in anthropology?
What I did was my preparation for anthropology and personality test was very brief. I studied, there's section 1 in your paper 1, right? What is anthropology, scope, and the entire first part. So basically about what is anthropology and all I read, and anthropology in Indian context, about various major tribes in news. The thing you can do here is you can take Vishnu sir's guidance also, right? He has a whole compendium of anthropology news with respect to India and world.
Okay.
So you can sit with him and come up with a set of questions which are probable from anthropology in interview.
Okay.
But they may not have specialized knowledge of this thing. So you can be as broad as you want. And with your knowledge from mains itself, you can come up with answers then and there. So don't stress too much about your option.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Like, suppose if someone asks me like why anthropology, I feel it's difficult to defend, because even I say I got interest in it while reading, or is it because related to humans and closer. But that seems very artificial because everyone knows it's because it's high scoring and easy to read.
Is it high scoring in recent years?
Maybe not, but yeah, maybe before it is like at
What,
least less years.
what is the truth here? Why did you select anthropology?
Yeah, I chose because it has less syllabus.
Yeah, you can
Easy to
actually say
cover
that.
while
They
working.
won't mind at all because they know the truth, right?
Okay.
So you can say that I'm not feeding answers to you, but the case with me was I chose it because of its high scoring nature, but actually I got interested in the subject once I started reading it. And that may be the case with you, right?
Yeah. Initially,
You
I
can say,
wanted to take maths, but because I'm a working professional and I might not get enough time, I took anthropology because of
yeah,
less
yeah,
syllabus.
you can say the reason. They won't mind at all.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yes, the basic theme you have to keep in mind is be as honest and as yourself as possible in the interview chamber. Because I don't think, see, they are like 60 years, more than 60 years old, I guess, right? They are retired, like almost 60 years old, and they are facing like 400. Each panel would face like more than 300 candidates each year. So they may easily be able to see through artificial or made up answers, right? So be as honest as you can.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
There is another question
Yes, sir.
regarding current affairs. How we have to do current affairs for interview preparation? It is
Yes,
general question. Everyone is asking me as well.
yes, the importance of newspaper cannot be understated here because the interview panel would be reading newspapers only, right? So if you read Hindu and Indian Express, that should do basically and develop opinions based on it. So the preparation of current affairs is different for personality tests because in this thing, instead of collection of facts, we should be involved in thinking. So if you read a piece, you should close the paper once and ponder about the topic and come up with your pros and cons. So that way, the advantage is that you would be able to develop this critical thinking ability and come up with logical answers in quick time. So you have to read and think for each piece which you read. So that is the strategy while preparing for personality test. Just open up a paper, read an article or a piece and think about the article and come up with your own opinions.
Sir, will the next 2 to 3 months papers will be enough or we have to go back and read the past 6 months or something more
No,
than
past 6 months now, you would have covered it in mains itself, right?
Haven't done it extensively.
Yeah, you would have a primary knowledge to come up with answers. But from now, at least for the next 2 to 3 months and past 1 month, since your mains,
Okay, got it.
you can cover that. Or if it's difficult, be diligent with your newspaper from now on and at least read the magazine for the past 2 months. You can do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can carry on with that. But be very diligent with your newspaper from now on. When is your interview date?
Interview date has not come yet.
Okay, it has not come, right? Be diligent with your newspaper from now on.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Shiva, one more question.
Yes, sir.
How you managed to get 200 marks? What made the interview board that you have to be given with 200 marks?
Sir, it's very difficult to state, sir, because after interview, like I was not very sure of my performance, sir. Like the judgment criteria, I'm not sure, but what I feel my strength was the ability to express things logically. So, and even my friend in FC who scored 205, what I observed was he was able to answer every question in a logical manner. So you have to express your thought process while coming up with answers to the board. Clarity in your exposition, that's the most important factor. And that comes with mock interviews.
Any example?
Like it's basically how we write our mains answers, sir. Like for me, like on the day of interview, they asked my opinion about euthanasia. And that's like completely random, right? Because that was not in the news, not related to any DAF and all. So first, logically, if you have to go about it, you have to tell them your conception of euthanasia. So I took up two types of euthanasia. There's active euthanasia and passive euthanasia. So the answer I would state is that for passive euthanasia, you have to do series of steps and then proceed with it. And then I would express why you should follow that steps. So you have to logically come up with answers, and that too within 1 minute. So that's important. And apart from that, your behavior within the chamber, you have to be as humble and respectful as possible. So that's it, I guess. But yes, you can have my mail ID, and you can actually, you don't need anything, right? Because there are already so much resources available with you, and so many videos, videos from previous year's toppers available on YouTube. So just sit with them, make a series of checklists that you will analyze from your mock interviews. And then after each interview, analyze your performance and improve it further on the next iteration.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yeah, Vidyanshu.
So, sir, like you were talking about euthanasia. Today I was attending lecture of from Vajiram and Ravi. So, sir said there that what you should do is, if they ask you a question like say on euthanasia, you give your opinion and then you give your reason that why it should be allowed. So, is this what you were talking about? That first you give your answer whether it should be allowed or not, and then you reason why you think.
See, these are just way of answering, right?
Okay.
So you can give your opinion, then explain it, or first express them your thought process and finally give them the opinion. It's just like essay writing. Like you could do it both ways.
So when you mean express your thought process, you mean various factors that you will consider.
Yeah, exactly. Various factors I would consider to come up with an opinion.
Okay. Sir, another question. They often ask us that you graduated X many years ago, so what have you been doing since then? Now, simple truth is that we have been preparing for this exam. Reaching till interview takes time. So how to express this in more decent way?
See, just be blunt about it, right? Or you would have done something else, like you would have developed some hobby.
Yes, sir. Hobbies are there. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you can say that I was not able to do it in the previous attempt because of certain reasons, but I also developed certain interests, something like that.
Like in my case, sir, Vishnu sir stands a testimony. Every time I missed prelims by 1 marks, 2 marks, last time by 0.67 marks. And finally I cleared this time and also cleared mains. So can I just simply say that, sir, every time I was missing by a few marks, so my family stood in support that, okay, you are missing by a few marks.
Yeah, see, that's the truth, right? If you are able to say it like as in a direct manner, they'll surely understand it. And it's not like you are the only person like that, right? Even I took like 2 attempts, so 3 years to prepare and clear this exam. And there are many people like that, 3, 4, 5 years. So it's not like, and I don't think there'll be very few panels ask such questions. So don't be worried about such things, sir. And even if they ask, give your honest answers. There's nothing wrong in it.
And sir, like my graduation is in engineering. So if they resort to engineering, then it has been so many years, and engineering is complex subject. So how to politely tell them that, sir, I'm out of touch with this subject?
See, this is the answer, right? That just say that you're not aware of it, but at least come, even if you don't remember the concepts, at least try to think about what could be the probable answer. Even if you don't come up with an answer, think about your thought process and express the thought process to them. If they're asking about factual questions now, there's no way out. You have to accept that you don't know it. But you're getting the point, right?
Yes, sir,
there are some logical questions where you can apply your mind or basic understanding of the subject to come up with solutions.
Okay. And sir, like you said that in your case, your interview was largely based on contemporary issues.
Yeah.
So should we also revise our mains notes for that?
See, like you would broadly have knowledge about the topics, right?
Yeah.
You can, it will boost your confidence, but it's not absolutely mandatory. Better thing would be to attempt mock interviews and analyze your performance in each of them.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So that's it, I guess. Anyone else? I guess it's done, sir.
Yes. It is a very good opportunity, everyone. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay. Yes. Thank you very much, Shiva, for giving us time.
Yeah, no problem. So it was great seeing you after so many days, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, no problem. And all the best, everyone.